G'day guys and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to talk about the DNT Optics ThermKnight. Now this unit is the bottom of the line of their thermal units, so take that with a grain of salt going forward into this review. It doesn't perform as well as some of their other ones, but this is the very, very cheapest one that you can get when you're getting into thermal optics. So what is it? It's a multi-spectrum hunting optic. It does day, it does digital night vision, and it does thermal. So I get this all the time from people not understanding the difference between night vision and thermal vision. Now, they're all night equipment. They all allow you to see in the dark, but they do it in different methods. Now, night vision technically should be called image intensifying. So it has a really, really sensitive sensor, which is going to pick up ambient light. You have to have some source of light for night vision or II, image intensifying, to work. So whether that be from an IR torch, as an infrared torch, or whether that be from white light, the stars, the moon, ambient light from street lights, whatever it needs to have some sort of light source. Now, thermal does not require that. Thermal is picking up heat signatures and heat differences between objects. Now, technically, they are both on the IR spectrum. One is shortwave IR, one is longwave IR, which is why FLIR, which is thermal, is forward-looking infrared. It's on the infrared spectrum, but it's not the same thing as II, image intensifying, night vision. I've seen people buying night vision scopes and then going, well, mine doesn't perform as well as X model. And then you go, well, you're actually using night vision, you're not using thermal, two completely different things, and that's why it doesn't look the same. So please understand the difference between the two. Now, there are benefits between one to the other. As I said, it will pick up light sources. So if the intended target you were looking at emits a light source, like reflection off an eye, night vision can be very, very good. If the intended target is, a kind of a hot critter, it's going to emit, obviously, body heat, which will be different from the surrounding area, which is why you can see it. Now, this does also come down to the settings within the system and how sensitive the temperature settings are. If the animal, let's say, has a body temperature of 38 degrees and the ground around it is 40 degrees, well, you're not going to be able to see it because they're too close in temperature range to each other. So, cold at night, body temperature of a pig, for instance, against cold, wet grass, obviously it's going to stand out like dog's balls. That's the idea behind thermal imaging. All right, so now that we have a brief understanding of how thermal works and the difference between thermal and night vision, we can move forward into the rest of this review. So, as I said, it's multi-spectrum. So we have day camera and we have night, and they both run off the camera that you can see on the top of the unit right there, which is why this has a fair bit of bulk to it. Now, if you put this next to a Hydra, which is their other model of just standalone thermal, you'll notice the Hydra is a hell of a lot smaller. That's because this has the added unit on top. Adds you a bit of weight, adds you a bit of flexibility. Because of the day camera, you can leave this on one gun and have it dedicated day and night. You don't have to worry about clip on, clip off, QD mounts, whether it's going to retain zero, etc., etc. You've got it all in one. Now, in this review, I'm not going to touch too much on the day camera and the night camera because I have done a review on DNT day and night scope, which I'll put up in the top right corner. You can click on that. All of the specs between this one and that one are the same. So if you really want to know about the day camera and the night camera, go across and watch that review. In this one, I'm just going to focus on the thermal. Now, quickly, while we're talking about the different cameras, you do have to understand that there is not really any slaving of zero between the two. You do have to zero the two individually, and this kind of stuffed me up a little bit when I was using it. I zeroed the thermal, and then the next day I went to shoot the day sight and realized that they weren't co-aligned. Now, in the zero function, you can jump between day and thermal. Obviously, the day and the night is exactly the same because it's using the same camera, so don't worry about that. But you can jump between the two when you're zeroing. There is an option, though, to not do that, because if you jump between the two, you can accidentally erase the zero of the one you've just done, which is what I ended up doing myself. It was a bit of a, trying to wrap your head around it was a bit hard, but I got there in the end. It was pretty easy to actually shoot the day get it sighted in, and then just slave the thermal to it. It was fairly close. You do have a little bit of a parallax error there because the two lenses are obviously not in the same place. So it wasn't quite on, but it was close enough that it took me a couple of shots to get it zeroed. So that's pretty cool. All right, so functionality of those buttons. Obviously you've got your power button on top and you've got your multifunction buttons. So the top one there with the arrow pointing up, you long hold that to get you in your menu, and then you use the up and the down to scroll through. You've got your left and right buttons for selecting, deselecting, all that sort of stuff. When you're not in the menu, they also do sub-functions. So the one on the right there does picture-in-picture. The one on the left changes between day and night. The one on the bottom is for manual recording. Now, on the topic of recording, if you have it set to recoil activated recording, even if you manually press record, it will still recoil activate record. So you'll have 2 video files on the system in 2 different folders. It will just overlap itself, which is perfectly fine. I believe the buffering gives you like 10 seconds before the shot, and I think it's 20 seconds after the shot, so it's about a 30-second video. And if you fire shots, let's say 15 seconds apart, those 2 recorded 30-second videos will overlap as well. So you're never going to miss any footage, which I thought was really, really cool, because there's a couple of times I was like, oh, I don't know if I actually recorded that, and it 100% did. Sometimes the recoil activated was a little bit too sensitive. I didn't really play it too much with the settings, and just bumping around in the car turned it on and made it start recording. But it actually wasn't too bad, not as bad as some other units. I was using a PARD unit as well, and that one did that very, very badly. Continued to self-activate when it was just bouncing around in the car. This one only did it like once. There's 2 red buttons on the side there. So we have the LRF button and we have the IR torch button. All right, so this one here, this one here is your IR torch. This here is your LRF. On the torch here, we have this ring, which you would turn to change from spot to flood. It's a very, very good torch. As I said, go and look at the other video. I'll touch more on the night vision stuff there. That's your LRF, and I'll talk about that in the other video as well, so go and watch that one. As you can see, we have a cantilever mount, which is 0 MOA. It does have a very beefy recoil lug in there for your pick rail, so that is all pretty good too. This doesn't take SD cards. Instead, you have a port here, and that holds the footage. Now, the one bone of contention I do have with that system not having a card you can just take it and put into any computer is I use Apple products, and a lot of Chinese stuff doesn't like Apple products because Apple is seen as, you know, capitalism America, and everything else, Android and whatever else, is communist Chinese. So they don't talk to each other. So the problem was I couldn't get any of the footage off. I had to go and use a Windows laptop, plug it into that to read it, transfer all the footage onto that Windows laptop, transfer all that footage from the Windows laptop to a hard drive to my Mac, so I could edit the video together. Bit of a pain in the arse. There is a Wi-Fi module that goes on the side here for this box. This version doesn't actually have it. All right, that's enough of the actual sight itself. Let's talk about shooting the bloody thing. So it has a 256 sensor, which is the bottom of sensors. So bear in mind that it's not the best sensor out there. However, this has some sort of Gucci AI algorithm thing in the computer, which actually makes it look more comparable to like a I think it's a 380 something is the next sensor size up. Suffice to say, this 256 is not the same image quality as most other 256s that I've used. This is a hell of a lot better. Having said that, it is a bit pixely. It is a bit like playing a Nintendo game where you can't really tell everything about the animals, particularly when you've used 640 sensors, then you go back to a 256, you really do see that the image quality is quite a bit different. Having said that though, I can still identify the targets, I can still shoot the targets. So yeah, as you can see from the footage, it's not the best quality in the world. As I've harped on before, it is only a 256 sensor. So if you were to step up to the DNT 640, which, you know, I'm really trying to get my hands on a DNT 640 Hydra, which is all the night vision stuff's gone, it's just the thermal. That thing looks awesome because that is a clip-on, so you can put it in front of your normal day optic as a clip-on, or you can use it as a standalone thermal sight with its own reticle in it. The thing is amazing. I really want to get my hands on it. But this here, obviously lower price point. If you want to get an entry level thermal and you want to have 3-in-1 scope, definitely go and have a look at DNT. Now in Australia, I believe you can buy direct from DNT. You can also buy them through Scoped Out, which is down in South Australia. Great people, so go and hit up Scoped Out. They probably have some of these in stock. I had a really, really good time using this. It worked pretty flawlessly for me. Image quality wasn't the best, but as I said, it's only a 256. Go and have a look at some of the outer products with higher resolution. The fact that it's a 3-in-1 for the price point is absolutely insane. It's a fairly small unit. It's fairly light. I had a lot of fun with it. Thanks heaps to DNT for sending that out to me. I really, really do appreciate it. In fact, in the mail today, at the time of recording this, I just received the DNT The One scope, which is a 7-35. And they've just sent me that just to have a bit of a play with. It's one of their test demo units. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you got something out of that. I'll see you next video, and hooroo.